They built a city in the middle of a desert and convinced the whole world to come. For 70 years, it worked. Farmers from Nebraska, steel workers from Pittsburgh, school teachers from Ohio, they all made the pilgrimage. Vegas was the great American equalizer. The place where a regular person could eat like a king, drink like a senator, and gamble like they had money to burn. But something changed. And in 2025, the tourists are finally saying it out loud. Vegas lost them, and it might not get them back. Hi, my name is Michael, and this is Old Vegas Legends. What Vegas used to be. Let me paint you a picture. 1982. You're a machinist from Cleveland. You've been working the line for 11 months straight, and your foreman finally approved your vacation request. You and your wife save up $800, pack a suitcase, and fly into McCarran International on a Tuesday morning in October when the fares are cheap and the casinos are hungry. You check into the Stardust for $6 a night. $6. I want you to remember that number because we're going to come back to it, and it's going to make you want to put your fist through the wall. You eat a prime rib dinner for $4.99. You watch a showgirl review that costs less than a movie ticket back home. You sit down at a blackjack table with a $2 minimum, and the dealer, a guy named Sal, who's been dealing since the Eisenhower administration, nods at you like you belong there, because you do. Vegas told you that you did. That was the promise. That was the deal. Benny Binion understood it better than anyone. When Benny built his horseshoe on Fremont Street in 1951, his philosophy wasn't complicated. Good food, good whiskey cheap, and a good gamble. That was it. No mission statements, no brand consultants, no focus groups. Just a cowboy from Texas who understood that if you treated regular people like high rollers, they'd spend like high rollers. And they did. The Stardust did it. The Riviera did it. The Old Frontier did it. The Fremont, the Golden Gate, the Four Queens. Every property downtown, and most of them on the Strip, operated on the same unspoken contract with the American middle class. We will make you feel special. We will feed you, entertain you, let you gamble with money you can afford to lose. And in exchange, you will come back. You will bring your friends, you will bring your kids when they're old enough, and then your kids will bring their kids. Vegas wasn't just selling gambling, it was selling a tradition, a ritual, a place in the American story. For decades, that contract held. The working class came in droves, retirees on fixed incomes who knew how to stretch a dollar at the slot machines, young couples on honeymoons who couldn't afford Hawaii, groups of friends celebrating birthdays and anniversaries and promotions, conventioneers who stayed an extra day because the deals were too good to leave. Vegas built itself into the most visited city in America on the backs of regular people who genuinely felt, that Vegas was on their side. And here's the thing that's easy to forget when you're looking at the Bellagio fountains or the Sphere or the Formula One paddock. Vegas didn't become great because of the whales. The billionaires and the high rollers, sure, they mattered. They still matter. But the foundation, the bedrock on which this city built everything, was the middle class. The $40,000 a year family that saved up for 2 years. The retired postal worker who budgeted $300 for gambling and not a penny more. The bachelorette party flying in from Indianapolis, the retirees on the bus from Phoenix. These people built Las Vegas. Every brick, every neon tube, every buffet steam tray. Regular people paid for all of it. And in 2025, regular people are done. The price of everything. Let me tell you about the resort fee. Actually, let me tell you about the moment I heard a hotel executive explain it with a straight face. Speaking at an industry conference, he described the resort fee as a way to bundle amenities for the convenience of guests. The amenities in question were the pool, the gym, and the Wi-Fi, things hotels have provided for free since approximately the invention of running water. But sure, very convenient, thank you so much. Here's how it works in practice. You book a room online. Advertised rate, $149 a night. You think, not bad. Then you check in. The resort fee is $45, mandatory, non-negotiable. Barely disclosed when you booked. Parking? And because yes, they charge you to park at the hotel you're already paying to sleep in. Runs another $25 a day. Suddenly that $149 room costs you north of $210 before you've touched a single slot machine. And it doesn't stop there. Concert ticket, service fee, sports bet, transaction fee. Show ticket, convenience fee on top of the face value, room service, delivery fee, service charge, and a suggested gratuity already added before they ask if you want to add more. It never stops. It just keeps going, dollar by dollar, fee by fee, until you feel less like a guest and more like a mark. Go on Reddit, go on TripAdvisor, the complaints are everywhere, and they all sound identical. People who budgeted carefully and came home $300 over. Longtime regulars saying the value has simply evaporated. There's a term for this: drip pricing. Advertise a low number, then add costs incrementally until the final price bears no resemblance to what attracted you. Airlines perfected it. Vegas adopted it enthusiastically. Benny Binion never would have charged you to park. I'll stake my reputation on that. The nickel slot graveyard. I want to talk about the casino floor, about what it used to be and what it is now, because something happened in there. Something slow and deliberate and so incremental that most people didn't notice until one day they walked in, looked around, and realized they couldn't afford to play. The nickel slot machine is gone. I don't mean it's rare. I don't mean it's hard to find. I mean it is gone. Extinct. A relic. If you find one operating somewhere on the Strip today, congratulations. You've discovered an artifact of a civilization that no longer exists. The quarter slot is mostly gone too. The dollar slot, the one that used to be the working man's standard, the machine you'd sit at for 2 hours nursing a free cocktail and a modest bankroll, that machine has been replaced by something called a penny slot, that through the miracle of multi-line betting, somehow costs you $3 per spin if you want to qualify for the jackpot, which is technically gambling but feels more like fraud. This is not an accident. This is strategy. In the 1970s and 80s, the casino floor was engineered for volume. Get as many people as possible playing as much as possible for as long as possible. Low minimums meant low rollers could participate. Low rollers meant foot traffic. Foot traffic meant life, energy, noise, atmosphere. The casino floor was supposed to feel alive. What it feels like now in many places is a waiting room. A very loud, very expensive waiting room. The blackjack tables are worse. Benny Binion used to offer single-deck blackjack, the game where a skilled player had a fighting chance. The house edge on a proper single-deck game, with good rules, is less than 0.5%. You could sit at that table, play smart, and go home roughly even. That was the deal. You got entertainment, free drinks, and a real shot. Now, walk onto most strip casino floors and try to find a table under $15 minimum. On a weekend, $25, $35. Friday nights at the major properties, you'll find $50 minimums at tables that were $10 5 years ago. The rules changed too. 6 to 5 blackjack payouts instead of 3 to 2. That single rule change, that one tweak, increased the house edge by 1.5%, which doesn't sound like much until you realize it means the house takes 3 times more of your money over the course of a session than it did under the old rules. They didn't make the game illegal. They just made it quietly, substantially worse. Continuous shuffle machines replaced the old hand-shuffled decks. No more counting cards, no more deck penetration, no more of the rhythm and strategy that made blackjack interesting for people who took it seriously. And here's the part that gets me. These changes didn't happen in a vacuum. The casinos ran the numbers. They know exactly what they're doing. They made a calculated decision that extracting more money from fewer players was more profitable than providing a good experience to more players. They chose margin over volume, revenue over loyalty, quarterly earnings over the 70-year relationship Vegas had with the American middle class. That's not a business strategy, that's a trade-off. And the middle class is figuring out which end of the trade they got. The food isn't cheap anymore, and neither is the lie. Let me tell you about the buffet, because the buffet wasn't just food, it was a philosophy. The Vegas buffet was a loss leader. The casino didn't make money on it. They made money on you staying longer because you ate cheap. Fill a man up for $3 and he'll spend 4 hours at your tables. The buffet was the handshake. Vegas saying, we're going to take care of you, and in exchange, you're going to stick around. The Golden Gate Hotel served a 99-cent shrimp cocktail for 50 years. From 1959 to 2009. By the end, adjusted for inflation, that cocktail should have cost $4. They kept it at 99 cents anyway because it was never about the shrimp. It was about what the shrimp represented. We see you. Come on in. Those days are over. When COVID shut the casinos down in 2020, every major buffet on the Strip closed with them. And when the casinos reopened, the buffets didn't. The Wynn, the Mirage, the MGM Grand, the Rio's Carnival World Buffet, gone. The Bellagio eventually came back at $45 a head. A family of 4 pays $180 for a buffet. In a city that used to brag about cheap food the way other cities brag about their skylines. What replaced them? Gordon Ramsay, Bobby Flay, Wolfgang Puck. $85 steaks, $40 pasta. The food is probably excellent. This isn't about quality, it's about access. About who gets to participate. The genius of old Vegas was that everybody ate. The guy who lost $500 had the same dinner as the whale who lost $50,000. Food was the great equalizer. That equalizer is gone. And with it went something that felt almost like hospitality. The Strip is a theme park. Now, in 1975, if you walked from one end of the Strip to the other, you'd encounter dozens of different personalities, different owners, different philosophies, different quirks. The Horseshoe was Benny's place, rough-edged and honest. The Sands was rat-pack cool, all cigarettes and class. The Stardust was big and a little bit shady and proud of both. The Riviera had Liberace in its DNA and never fully recovered in the best possible way. Each casino was somebody's vision. A person, or at least a collection of people with a shared idea about what a casino should feel like. And those ideas were different from each other, radically different. That difference was the texture of Las Vegas. Now, walk the Strip in 2025. Tell me what you see. MGM Resorts. International owns the Bellagio, the MGM Grand, the Aria, the Vdara, the Cosmopolitan, New York, New York, the Park MGM, the Excalibur, the Luxor, the Mandalay Bay, and the Delano. That's not a casino portfolio. That's a monopoly with a loyalty program. Caesars Entertainment owns Caesars Palace, the Horseshoe, Paris Las Vegas, Bally's, Planet Hollywood, the Flamingo, the Link, and Harrah's. The Horseshoe, by the way, Benny Binion's Horseshoe. The joint Becky ran into the ground before Harrah's bought it. Harrah's became Caesars. Now it's all one thing. Benny is rolling in his grave so fast they could use him to generate electricity. Between MGM and Caesars, 2 corporations control the overwhelming majority of Strip real estate. Every player's club card, every comp system, every hotel rate, every table minimum, every resort fee, coordinated, systematized, optimized. Do you know what optimization does to personality? Slowly, professionally, with excellent customer service the whole way down. When you walk into a Caesars property and then walk across the street into an MGM property, you are walking from one branch of the same corporate tree to another branch of the same corporate tree. The carpet patterns are different, the uniforms have different colors, but the experience, the feel, the soul of the thing, it's the same. It's a product. A well-made product designed by committees and tested by focus groups and refined by revenue managers who know the optimal price point for a bottle of water in a minibar. And tourists feel it. They can't always articulate it, but they feel it. The guys who made Vegas great, Benny Binion, Steve Wynn, Jay Sarno, who built Caesars Palace and Circus Circus, Del Webb, who built the Sahara, Kurt Kerkorian, who built 3 versions of the MGM Grand, each one more audacious than the last. These were characters. Enormous, difficult, occasionally criminal characters, but characters. Men with vision and ego and the particular madness required to build a dream in the desert. The Strip doesn't have characters anymore. It has brand managers, and the tourists are bored. The heat, the crime, the vibe shift. Here's something nobody in the Las Vegas tourism marketing department wants to talk about. Vegas in the summer of 2025 hit 117 degrees Fahrenheit. 117. For context, that is the temperature at which you do not walk outside by choice. That is survivalist territory. That is stay in your air-conditioned room and watch television territory. Climate change is not a political statement. It is a meteorological fact. And the meteorological fact is that Las Vegas, a city built in a desert, is getting significantly hotter. The average summer high in Vegas in the 1980s was around 104 degrees, already brutal, already enough to give you pause. But 104 is manageable. 117 is something else. 117 is the kind of heat that makes people reconsider the whole outdoor strip experience. And the outdoor strip experience is a significant part of the product. But the heat is only one part of the vibe shift. The other part is harder to talk about without getting into territory that some people find uncomfortable. So I'll just say it plainly and let the facts speak. Fremont Street has a problem. The old downtown experience, the Fremont Street experience with the light canopy overhead and the casinos clustered underneath, was supposed to be a revitalization project. And for a while, it worked. It brought foot traffic back downtown. It gave the old properties a reason to exist when the Strip was eating their lunch. But in recent years, Fremont Street has developed a reputation. Tourists posting videos of aggressive panhandling, of street confrontations, of an atmosphere that feels, on certain nights, genuinely unsafe. These videos go viral, millions of views, comments from people saying they won't go back, comments from longtime Vegas visitors saying they haven't recognized downtown in years. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has made efforts. More patrols, more presence, more enforcement. But the perception problem is real, and perception is everything in a city that sells fantasy. And then there are the broader social indicators. Nevada's homeless population has grown substantially. Las Vegas has struggled with how to manage it visibly, in a city where the product is aspiration. The contrast between the billion-dollar resorts and what you see on certain blocks within walking distance is jarring to visitors who weren't prepared for it. I'm not saying Vegas is uniquely dangerous. I'm not saying it's a war zone. I'm saying that a city whose brand is built entirely on the feeling of escape and fantasy has a particular vulnerability when reality intrudes on that feeling. And in 2025, reality is intruding. And the tourists are posting it. They're sharing it. And other tourists are watching. Where they're going, instead. So if they're leaving Vegas, where are they going? Nashville, Tennessee. I know. Hear me out. Nashville is doing something in 2025 that Vegas was doing in 1975. It's offering an accessible, affordable, energetic party destination that makes regular people feel welcome. The honky-tonks on Broadway are open until 3 in the morning. The live music is free. The drinks are cheaper than Vegas. The food is excellent and the prices are reasonable. And Nashville doesn't charge you to park at the bar you're already paying to drink at. Nashville's tourism numbers have grown every year for the past decade. Bachelorette parties that used to default to Vegas are going to Nashville in significant numbers. The market research is consistent. When younger tourists are asked why they chose Nashville over Vegas, the answers cluster around the same themes. It felt more authentic. It didn't feel like we were being squeezed for every dollar. We could afford to have fun. That is a brutal indictment. This, in the language of tourism research, that is a 5-alarm fire. Scottsdale, Arizona is doing the same thing on the luxury end. Golf, pools, nightlife, world-class restaurants, incredible weather in the spring, closer to California than Vegas, cheaper flights, no resort fees on most properties. Scottsdale is eating Vegas's upscale weekend market quietly and steadily. The Mississippi Gulf Coast is pulling the value gamblers. Biloxi has casinos, lower table minimums than Vegas, cheaper rooms, and free parking. Always free parking, because that's what normal hospitality looks like. And then there's the one Vegas truly didn't see coming, the living room. Online gambling is legal and operational in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Connecticut, Delaware, West Virginia, and Rhode Island, with more states moving toward legalization every year. BetMGM, DraftKings, FanDuel. These platforms offer blackjack, roulette, slots, poker, and sports betting from your couch, in your pajamas, with no resort fee, no parking fee, no minimum drink order that they're technically not charging you for, but are absolutely factoring into the price of everything around you. Why fly to Vegas when Vegas is on your phone? And the tribal casinos, This is the one that ended Buffalo Bills, that gutted the Prim Corridor, and that is quietly, systematically pulling the Southern California gambling dollar out of Las Vegas. The Pachanga, the Morongo, the San Manuel, the Agua Caliente. These are not modest bingo halls. They are full-scale resort operations with world-class amenities, reasonable prices, and a geographic advantage that no airline deal can overcome. The customer Vegas built its empire on, the middle-class American gambler who drives or flies in for a long weekend. That customer has options now. More options than at any point in history. And every single year, the calculation of whether Vegas is worth it gets harder to justify. Vegas used to have a monopoly. Not just a legal monopoly on casino gambling in the continental United States, though it had that for decades. It had a cultural monopoly. Vegas was the only place you could feel that feeling. The neon, the energy, the sense of permission. You could do anything here and the city wouldn't judge you, because the city was built by people who shouldn't be judged. That monopoly is gone. The legal one and the cultural one, both gone, and Vegas is still pricing like it's 1988 and you have nowhere else to go. What Vegas is betting on. Here's the thing though. Vegas knows. The people running these properties are not stupid. They are not oblivious. They have analytics departments and customer research teams and revenue managers who look at demographic data the way a cardiologist reads an EKG. They see the middle-class erosion. They see the competition. They see the TripAdvisor reviews and the Reddit threads and the viral videos of empty casino floors on Tuesday nights. And they've made a decision. They're going for the premium customer, the ultra-premium customer, and they are going after that customer with a level of investment and ambition that, honestly, is impressive to watch even if you hate what it means. The Sphere opened in 2023, $1.8 billion, the most advanced entertainment venue ever built, an immersive experience so technically extraordinary that it genuinely has no equivalent anywhere on Earth. You can complain about the ticket prices. You cannot complain about the spectacle. The Sphere is a genuine wonder, and it is not built for the guy who used to stay at the Stardust for $6 a night. It's built for this global entertainment consumer who wants to say they were there. Pues, Formula One. The Las Vegas Grand Prix debuted in November 2023, and Vegas went all in. The race course runs down the strip itself. Caesar's Palace, the Bellagio, the Wynn. They're all part of the track. Tickets for premium grandstand seats ran over $5,000. The economics of Formula One tourism are extraordinary. The average Formula One race attendee spends more in a single weekend than the average Vegas tourist spends in a week. The NFL. The Raiders play at Allegiant Stadium, one of the most architecturally stunning sports venues in America. Vegas landed the Super Bowl. It landed the Pro Bowl. It landed the NHL with the Vegas Golden Knights, who won the Stanley Cup in their 6th year of existence, which is the most Vegas thing that has ever happened in sports. The city is building a new baseball stadium for the Oakland Athletics. What Vegas is building is a sports and entertainment capital for the affluent global traveler, not a gambling destination for the American middle class. The gambling is almost secondary now. An amenity, something you do between the concert and the game. Is it working? On the revenue numbers, yes. Las Vegas visitor spending has hit records in recent years even as visitor counts plateau. The whale spending more is, from a pure revenue standpoint, better than the regular tourist spending less. Margin over volume. The decision looks defensible in a spreadsheet. But here's the bet Vegas is actually making, and it's the most dangerous gamble the city has ever placed. Vegas is betting that the premium market is inexhaustible, that there will always be enough wealthy global tourists to fill the rooms, buy the concert tickets, place the sports bets, eat at the celebrity restaurants. It is betting that it doesn't need the middle class, that the relationship built over 70 years between this city and the working American was a temporary arrangement born of necessity, not a covenant worth honoring. That bet might pay off. Vegas has surprised everyone before, or it might be the thing that finally breaks the spell, because cities, like casinos, need the floor to be full. Empty tables have a sound. It's the sound of a deal that nobody wants to take anymore. Let me take you back to Benny Binion one more time. Because I keep coming back to Benny, not because he was a good man, by most conventional definitions of the word. He absolutely was not. But because he understood something about this city that the people running it now seem to have forgotten. Benny used to say that the best thing a casino could do was make the customer feel like the casino needed them. Not like the casino was tolerating them, not like the casino was processing them through a revenue optimization system. Like the casino genuinely actually needed them there. Good food, good whiskey cheap, and a good gamble. That was the whole theory. Make the customer feel like they're getting the better end of the deal. Even when the house is winning, which it always is, make the customer feel taken care of. Make them want to come back, not because they have to, but because they want to. The tourists quitting Vegas in 2025 aren't quitting because they lost money. Losing money is part of the deal. They knew that going in. You don't drive to Vegas by accident. You know what the house edge is. You're buying an experience, not an investment. They're quitting because the experience doesn't feel worth it anymore. Because the resort fee and the parking fee and the $25 table minimum and the $45 buffet and the tip already added before you're asked if you want to add a tip. All of it adds up to a feeling. And the feeling is this: Vegas doesn't need you. Vegas has someone better lined up. Vegas has a Formula One spectator and a technology convention and a global whale from Singapore who's going to drop more in one night than you spend on your entire trip. You, regular American, are a rounding error, a legacy customer in a city that has quietly decided to upgrade its clientele. And here's the thing about that feeling. Once you feel it, you don't easily unfeel it. There's a couple in Cincinnati, been going to Vegas every October for 22 years. Same week, same general routine. They've tried different hotels, different shows, different restaurants, but always Vegas, always October, a tradition that spans their entire marriage. In 2024, they went to Nashville instead, just to try it. Had the time of their lives. Nashville treated them like Nashville needed them there. They're going back to Nashville in 2025. 22 years, gone. Vegas will tell you it doesn't care. And maybe the spreadsheet agrees, but somewhere in the foundation of every casino on the Strip, in the concrete, in the history, in the 70 years of deals struck and promises made, there is a ghost. Several ghosts, actually. Benny Binion. Tony Cornero, who died at a craps table before he ever saw his dream open. Gus Greenbaum, who saved the Riviera and got murdered for his trouble. All the dealers and pit bosses and cocktail waitresses who built this city with their hands and their personalities, and their willingness to show up for a shift every day in a place that ran 24 hours because the dream couldn't afford to stop. Those ghosts built a city on a covenant with regular people. They kept their end of the deal for longer than anyone had a right to expect. Now that covenant is being renegotiated. And the regular people, the ones who made Vegas Vegas before Vegas decided it didn't need them anymore, are walking away. Maybe Vegas wins the bet. Maybe the premium strategy works and the city becomes the Monaco of the American West. A glittering, exclusive, ludicrously expensive playground for the global elite. And the middle class goes to Nashville and everyone adjusts and the Strip still glitters and the money still flows and none of it matters. Or maybe the floor empties. Maybe the Formula One visitors and the convention dollars and the technology summit attendees don't fill the rooms the way 3 million regular tourists used to. Maybe a city without a soul is just a very expensive real estate project. Maybe you can take the neon out of the desert, but you can't replace what the neon meant. I don't know which way it goes. Nobody does, not even Vegas. But I'll tell you this. Somewhere tonight, a family in Ohio is sitting around a kitchen table, deciding where to take their vacation this year. Vegas is on the list. It's always on the list. But the resort fee came up, and the parking fee. And somebody's cousin went last year and said the blackjack minimums were ridiculous, and the buffets are mostly closed, and it just didn't feel the same. And someone at that table is pulling up flights to Nashville. That's the story of Las Vegas in 2025. Not a collapse, not a crisis, not a disaster. Just a slow, quiet walk to the exit by the people who used to make this city great. The people Benny Binion built it for. The people who got the $6 room and the $4 prime rib and genuinely felt, that Vegas was theirs. It isn't theirs anymore, and they know it. The house always wins. But this time, the house forgot that you can't win a game nobody wants to play. If you remember when Vegas felt like it was built for you, when you could walk in off the street with a couple $100s and feel like a king, tell me about it in the comments. I want to hear your Vegas. the real Vegas, the one that doesn't exist anymore, except in the memories of people who were lucky enough to be there. And if you love the real history of this city, the stories behind the neon, the people who built it, and the forces that tore it down, hit subscribe, because every legend has a story, and Vegas never forgets.